Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. In today's episode, we'll be discussing why it's important to have mental clarity. In today's episode, I want to discuss why it's important to have mental clarity and a good understanding on situations. In previous episodes, I like to break down and dissect different situations that you can encounter just so you can understand what you're up against when you're dealing with different people. Because it's not just enough to know the cover page of a person or a situation. You're able to understand and have a better grip on the situation when you have more details, when you know why something's happening and you know why they did it and what's going to happen if they do this. Just, being able to look at it from a bunch of different ways, because now you understand how it works, the inner and the outer ways of how this problem is. Instead of just, it's just that. It's just this problem. But if you know how the problem works, then you can learn, you know how to navigate it better. Because the less information you have when you're dealing with something leaves more room for confusion. And the more you're confused is the more time that you're not in touch with reality. That's a point. When you're confused, when you don't know what's going on, and don't understand what's happening, is when your footing is not grounded. You're not grounded in reality for a minute until somebody comes and helps you or until you figure it out. We can all tell when somebody's confused. Everybody makes the same face. They kind of look up and they look down and they start reaching for their phone, and they look left and then look. We all know what confusion looks like. That's why people will come up to you and be like, "Hey, can I help you out? Are you looking for something?" Because people can tell what confusion looks like, that the person looks like they don't know exactly what's going on right then. And that's usually a temporary moment. But imagine if you're confused back to back to back to back to back. Then that confusion turns into a mental problem. And that's what, narcissists can do. That's why I kind of break down all these different situations so you can understand exactly how they happen. So when you see it, you'll recognize it and you'll understand it. Because when you understand these problems, your brain is able to process everything and you can still maintain your footing. But once you get confused, that means you're off balance. And then if somebody else throws something else to you while you're still off balance, now you're even more off balance. And then somebody does something else. You don't know where you are at that moment. Then that leaves you vulnerable for somebody to come up and be like, "Hey, I can help you fix this." And you're so confused, you need help. But the person that's coming to help you doesn't have the best interest for you, because they're the ones that got you confused. They got you right where they want you. Now they're able to do whatever the plan is that they have for you. So that's why I always try to break things down so you can understand situations 100%. Well, I don't know about 100%, but you know it enough to where there's different variables. If things change, we've looked at it that way. If it comes at you from a different way, we've looked at it that way. There's all these different ways that we're examining the situation. So we'll be prepared when we encounter that, or if we encounter that. See, for example, say you're going on a retreat and it's going to be a 3-week retreat. You're going to just do some mindful stuff. You want to get back in touch with yourself and get out in nature. And it's going to be a small one. It might be like 25 people, plus the crew, the people that work there. But the thing that you don't realize is that everybody that works at the retreat and that's going to the retreat are professional magicians. So you get there not knowing, people are just like, hanging out and chilling. And a dude pulls out a quarter, he's like flicking it, just messing around or something. And he makes it just disappear. And you're like, oh man, where did that quarter go that you just had? Did it just, it's like, nah, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's like, I could have sworn you were flicking a quarter up. Like, nah, man. So right there, you're in a state of confusion because you don't understand what's going on. And that could be gaslighting. That could be gaslighting right there from somebody's, making you think you didn't see what you saw. So you're like, all right, I guess I'm just too hot. I'm gonna go back to the room for a little bit. I need to go lay down. That was crazy. I could have swore I saw a quarter. You get back to your room. Just say you have like a roommate, like 2 people to a room at whatever little resort or something for the retreat. And the person you're sharing a room with has is making their bed, but they brought their guitar with them. So the guitar's, you're on a retreat, bring whatever you want to bring, I guess. And they're like about to make the bed with the sheet. And you kind of look it over, you're like, why don't he take the guitar off the bed before he spreads out the sheet? And he spreads it out and he's like, then you go, why do you got the guitar under that sheet? I mean, why did you make your bed with the guitar under it? And he's like, what are you talking about? The guitar is under your sheet. Why you make your bed? And he pulls back the sheet and the guitar is gone. And the guy's like, what? Wait, what? You just had your guitar right there. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? I didn't even bring my guitar. So now, since you don't understand what's going on, now you're really confused, right? The dude with the quarter, he made that disappear, but you don't know you're there with a bunch of magicians. So the dude did his professional move by making a guitar disappear. But if you don't understand that these are magicians, and then these people are telling you what you thought you saw didn't happen, you will begin to question yourself. Even that you saw what you saw. And if you stay at that retreat for 3 weeks while everybody is making different things happen and nobody's telling you that they're magicians, it's gonna break your brain. You're gonna have a mental problem when you leave there because you're gonna be totally detached from what reality is. Because it's too much going on back to back. Your brain can never grasp what's going on. So that's already a problem if you don't even know. Now just say you even knew, you got there and everybody's like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, we're on our magician's retreat. You're like, oh, I thought this was, it's still the same retreat, but it's just a bunch of magicians and you just got the last spot. So you just happen to go there while a bunch of magicians were there. By you knowing that they're magicians and they're constantly all doing tricks all day, you can still go crazy. If they keep everywhere you go around there for 3 weeks, everybody's doing a magic trick. One, because imagine how blown away you are when you say you go to Las Vegas or something and you go to a magic show or you even see one on TV. We know we're watching magic. We know we're watching it and we're still mind blown. We still don't even understand it. And that's just for like a segment, like 4 minutes of magic. And we're like, I can't believe this. My brain. Because if the magic is good, you're just like, this is crazy. Now imagine if you're just around magicians all day and they're doing that, you're still gonna probably go crazy. One, because you don't understand how the trick is done. You still are mind boggled. And if you have too much stuff that mind boggles you, that'll still affect your brain. If it's too much, 3 weeks of constant magic, even that you know it's magic, Your brain has to be able to grasp and understand what's going on for you to feel at peace. You would never feel at peace. The only way you would be able to leave that retreat in one piece is if you knew that there were magicians when you got there, and if you knew how every trick was done. Like if you knew the whole trick, how it was done. That's how you keep your sanity, because you're always in touch with reality. You're never mind boggled. So that's why I like to break down situations to where we really, understand them. Because as long as you understand what's going on, you're always in touch with reality. But the main thing that you could do is when you get to the resort and you realize that they are magicians, is say, I'll come back next week. I'll come back for the next retreat. That's how you save your sanity. You don't entertain that. Don't even try to entertain it. Have enough information to be able to spot a person that could be gaslighting you or manipulating you to not entertain it. Don't think just because you recognize what they're doing, now you want to entertain it and try to navigate that whole thing. I mean, I talk about how to navigate it, but in talking about how to navigate it is there's going to be all these different ways that they present the deception. So it's not just one way, because if there's only one way if there's only one way you're looking for the deception, if they don't do that way, then you're going to get decepted by a different way that they present it. That's why I always have all these different ways to look at stuff, because there's more than one way to do one trick. That's why I always like to cover a bunch of different bases on one situation. So by me explaining all these different situations, I'm just giving you different ways to look at the deception or the manipulation or the gaslighting, so you can recognize it, so you can spot it out. So as soon as you spot it out, cut that person off, or just, walk away from it as soon as you see it. Because the longer you involve yourself in the trickery, you're eventually are gonna fall for something, and then you're wrapped up in the web. But I'm in this right here. Until next time.